Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bug and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2, picking your first truck, and this is the last of the beginner trucks. And this, of course, is this Scania R360, or they call it the Scania R Normal. Quite frankly, my favorite truck. Above and beyond anything else, and that's just personal preference. However, I still do think it is the best truck in the game, and I can speak somewhat objectively and not, being too biased about it. Number one, it has a fairly long chassis, and its cab isn't too tall, so it's not bad in stability. It's actually got a good stability to it. And let's head over to the truck dealer here. Scania. Yeah, I got plenty of like Scania dealerships. And here we are here. Oh, and actually, I did make a mistake. If you take a look here, the Scania R Normal, they're the same truck. Same thing as the Volvo, that you can get the Scania in a different color with the side skirts on it. Same horsepower engine, same pull, same drive, same tank. So I was mistaken. There is two that you can do that get the same benefits to it. And I just bought the green one because I wasn't paying attention. But if I had paid attention, I'd have bought the blue one. So the Scania R Normal, of course, it's Series R, 4x2, cabin, normal. Left-handed steering wheel, 360 horsepower engine, 265 kilowatts, 1850 newton meters, only 50 newton meters off of the Volvo at 1000 to 1300 RPM. So it pulls those newton meters in a slightly lower RPM on the high side. The Volvo, I believe, was 1000 to 1400. And again, the lower the RPM in terms of torque, the better it is for pulling. The gearbox is an OptiCruise GR-SO925. It has a 700 plus 700 liter tank, so 1400 liters of fuel when you're running the standard 2x4 or 4x4 chassis. It's also $109,110. It is actually, I believe, the most expensive truck in the game to buy starting off. I don't think there's a $110,000 truck in the most basic. And it's $132,000 just for the side skirts. And actually, no, it's normal. That's not a Highline cab. This is a Highline cab up here. So, yeah, it can be expensive. But Scania, it seems like in a vanilla game, has the most upgrades. Has the most engine upgrades, so you can upgrade more often as you go through. It has the most chassis upgrades. I think. I could be wrong. And it's just overall a really good truck. And what puts it ahead of the Volvo is its stability. Its stability, pardon me, I just finished eating. I really shouldn't have recorded quite yet, but I wanted to get this done. Its stability is much better than the Volvo, especially if you decide to upgrade to what you see here, the top line, the big cabin. If you decide to upgrade to the top line before you upgrade the chassis, it's still fairly stable. I don't recommend doing it really with any truck, but it's actually still stable. So you can upgrade if you want to keep your chassis, which with the Scania, until I start getting better fuel efficiency, I don't like to upgrade the Scania's chassis, because you lose a massive amount of fuel capacity when you do. And I can show you that here. Yeah, here we go. 400 by 200, 450 by 250. You can see you lose a lot of fuel capacity compared to 700 by 700. So I don't like to upgrade the chassis until I get at least 2 to 3 points in fuel efficiency, which fuel efficiency I level not last, but 1, 2. I prioritize several things. I'll go over that in another video. So I'm actually going to go over efficiency and leveling as well. So let's see if we get lucky enough to find a decent haul load. Can we get 21 tons? That's not going anywhere, and neither is that. 40 tons is too heavy. 75 tons is too heavy. 25 tons is too far. Okay, so company manager, truck manager, it really doesn't matter, I don't think. 41 hours, yes, we'll make a boatload of money. Then we'll go back to the Scania. We go. And car market. Sometimes the game cooperates, sometimes it doesn't. I'd rather 20... Oh, wait. Must select Roma. There we go. 23 tons is okay, but it's not going anywhere. 24 tons? 551 miles? That's kind of far, but I don't want to go over and over and over and over and over. So we'll take the 25-ton calcium load. 24 tons, sorry, it's not quite 25 tons. Now, interesting, I was driving yesterday, I was driving my big Scania, and I actually ran into a series of crashes, which both troubled me because I've driven that road before and didn't crash. Alright, one thing I gotta say real quick, the sounds that you're hearing, the air brakes, the engine, the what is it? The turbocharger. This is where I can't fairly judge the Scania for sure. I should probably have my lights on, huh? And that's mainly because I have a modded in sound for the Scania to make it sound a little bit better. The Scania sound is somewhere, let's put it this way, in terms of manly truck sounds, the Mercedes and the MAN, not particularly in that order, are probably the most, you know, deep, nice diesel sound trucks. The Scania comes in a little bit after that. You know, it's better than the Renault in terms of sound. It's better than Iveco and all that. Definitely better than the Volvo. Like I said, the Volvo's kind of like driving a luxury SUV more than it is driving a heavy hauler. But it's got a good sound to it. The directional sounds I don't particularly like. I like that heavy, thick, click, 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 click sound. But you can't have everything. Alright, so we'll take the job. Now, in terms of visibility, it has really nice visible mirrors. They're not quite as big as the Volvos or the MANs, but they're still really good. The fisheye is a really good size. It's a really good size fisheye, and it's up top, which I actually like. And then there's the regular mirror. It's lower down, and it is a little bit smaller than your average, but that actually kind of helps in terms of visibility. You see, as a normal straight-on look, I have really good visibility when I'm turning out to the side. It's just the way it's set up. It actually blocks more towards the front than most trucks. Unless you happen to be named Daff. But it still provides really good visibility. Now, one thing I don't like, yeah, that mirror, the front mirror. It is positioned up out of the way, so it's not a big distraction like some trucks where it's positioned almost in front of you. But it's positioned in the most inconvenient spot in terms of when it comes to like stopping at the line at lights. And you can see why. Not that it's hard to see the light when it changes, but it's still highly annoying. So in all due honesty, when I upgrade my Scania, one of the things I do is I remove the front mirror. So that's a little bit of a detriment to the Scania's rankings, but still, overall, another thing I really like about the Scania, the dashboard. The dashboard is really easy to read. even compared to the Volvos. The numbers are nice and big, nice and bright. Of course, I know we got the lights on, but still. They're big, bright, they're easy to read, they're not, you know, too hard to figure out. Like, right now I can see exactly how many kilometers I've traveled, how many kilometers I can travel, how much fuel I have. I don't get the idea behind giving me the temperature, because it never comes into consideration while driving. It's like, my truck can't overheat as far as I know. Now the Scania, even with its basic Opti gearbox, actually has really good braking. It's one of the most solid braking trucks I've found in the game. And I'm not sure why that is. I would think that the MAN and even the Mercedes would have better braking because of its lower end engine torque transmission, which does help in truck braking. But for whatever reason, the Scania has really, really solid braking. You won't avoid every panic stop moment if you have them, but you will avoid some of them. And so that's really nice, nice thing to have while driving. Oh yeah, I'm driving with my directional on, like, I don't even want to go there. No, I'm not going to go there. Alright, so let's see, we can take this about 60 miles an hour, no problem, 62. And we're going to hit the top right at about 48, we stop losing speed, so that's really solid right there as well. Although the better uphill run is going to come after we get off down here and get up onto the next highway. You see, I'm hitting this corner a little hard on purpose. 74, 77 kilometers, and I came around it smooth, just like the MAN. And what rates the Scania better than the MAN truck? Well, the Scania actually has better pulling power and better braking than the MAN does. Actually, I don't want to be over there. No, I want to be here. That's right. So that definitely keeps the Scania above the MAN. And again, you could really, truly, if I'm going to be 100% honest, you could flip a coin between Volvo and Scania when it comes to benefits of driving. And if you really came down to nitpicking it, and it pains me to say this, if you really came down to nitpicking, a really nice climb onto the highway here, really well done. The Volvo with a slightly smaller side, not the Volvo, the Scania with its slightly smaller side mirrors and the minorly bad positioning of the mirror actually makes the Scania a slightly worse truck than the Volvo. However, I really do go upon its stability. I like the Scania's stability over a Volvo. I like the Scania's braking over Volvo. To me, the smaller cosmetic issues are nothing compared to the larger mechanical issues. Like I said, you go ahead, upgrade the cab on a Volvo without upgrading the chassis and see how well you do hauling even a 25-ton load. Let alone mod it in 35, 45, 60 some odd, 75 tons of trailer. Damn it, I can almost never get that exactly right. See, just nice, easy acceleration out of the gate. Not a single issue in the world here. A car next to us. Is he going to get past us? He should. Not as quickly as I like, because I really need to get over. So we're going to have to slow it down, start moving, There we go. So on a slight climb right now, but we're holding steady and actually even gaining a little bit of speed in 10th gear. There we go, gaining more speed as the slight climb levels out. But unfortunately, we will have to get off the highway here. But fortunately, it's downhill, so we'll actually be able to pick up speed on this run. And with a Scania, I know the Scania enough, as well as the other trucks could probably do it. I just didn't know them enough just to hold the gas and come running down. But oh, here's my favorite thing: build up a little bit of headway. Oh, well, we'll just throw a toll booth in your face and make you have to break all that wonderful momentum that you had. I really feel bad that I have the modded in sounds, because it makes it a little unfair in terms of sound. People might hear this sound even after I say, oh, you know, that's not the real sound of the Scania, and they'll want it anyways. And God forbid they ask me, what mod is that? What mod is that? Oh, jeez. I got so many mods, and most of them are written in a language I don't read. You know, the names, they're in a language that I don't understand and I don't read. Whether it be German or Dutch or Italian or whatever. So it doesn't help me when people ask, oh, what mod is that? Sometimes I know. Sometimes they're easy to figure out. And sometimes they're not. Where the jets constantly fly overhead. You might have just heard that jet go over. No, to me it also seems like the Scania drives better. There could be just the fact that even with all the upgrades, I'm actually more used to the Scania and the way it handles, because I've been driving it so much. Despite the fact I'm only level 19, I actually have like 150 hours or even more put in this game. I'll have to take a look. So like I said, I've restarted a lot for various reasons. Sometimes just for fun, sometimes because something happens that frustrates me, sometimes because I want to use a mod and I can't use that mod unless I start my game over, which is really freaking irritating. But we do what we must in order to have fun. If I kept to all my rules, I wouldn't have a mod that puts in a 75-ton train for me to haul from a construction site to a farm. Again, my hauling and deliveries in terms of when it came to trailers needed to make at least some kind of sense. I didn't feel right picking up a train from a construction site and delivering it to a farm. You pull up the farm, here's your train, and the farmer looks at it and goes, thank you? So doing really well here in the haul. I'm pretty sure we're on a nice level run here. There's like little to no gradient. I think that I call it grade, and I think that's actually what I'm supposed to be calling it, gradient. But either way. So we've got a nice run of speed going up to 93 kilometers and climbing. I don't think we have any cameras in our way, so we just get a nice solid run going. The trailer's small but heavy at 24 tons. It could easily cause a rollover if we take too sharp a corner, as with any truck, to be honest. Okay, we got a bit of a steep hill here, so with about a 93 kilometer run, we just pop up over the top at 84, so that did really, really well. What the hell is that? Just try not to crash. Yeah, some kind of construction. I really need to look ahead because I don't want to end up flying off the road. Sometimes I need to just stop and look at stuff rather than just try to look at it while driving by. Now, I know we've traveled this road before. I forget which truck it was that we took it on, but I know we traveled this road before. But after this, I will do the the basic Renault Magnum, the level 10 truck. And then I'm probably going to haul at least one load with my big Scania. And then I might do the series in premium trucks, the high-end trucks. Or I'll do that, or, you know, I might do leveling, you know, efficiency on leveling up. Some tips and tricks in the game that you can use, which I've already, like, shown some of them here. So we're on a bit of a long climb here. You know, as can be seen, it's a slight climb, but it is a climb. As we've been slowly losing speed. But that's the thing, we've been slowly losing speed. It hasn't been a very strong loss in speed yet. And so the Scania is actually handling it quite well. We're still dropping speed though. So that's a little rough right now. In terms of Scania upgrades, Scania is the second most powerful truck in the vanilla game. It upgrades to 730 horsepower, which is only 20 horsepower off the Volvo, but I believe it has the same Newton meter pull as the Volvo, and I think it even does it at a lower RPM, which, when it comes to trucks and starting out and towing, it's all, in all due honesty, about the torque and getting started and getting up to speed and hauling up hills much more than it is, you know, the full horsepower of the engine. A lot of people are like, oh, look at this horsepower, look at that horsepower. Horsepower helps in terms of like muscle cars and top end speed and you know, maintaining that speed and things like that. Torque is all about, you know, is everything that trucks are about, whether they be pickup trucks or big rigs. It's about being able to get started, you know. It's about being able to get started, and it's about maintaining that speed when going up a steep hill, or being able to haul up a hill at low speeds, because you're on such a steep hill with a trailer, which happens plenty of times. So I tend not to judge a truck by its horsepower. I tend to judge it by its torque, or in this game it's Newton meters, which I find is much more important. Which is why a 320 horsepower Mercedes can haul so much better than a 310 horsepower Iveco. Even though there's only a 10 horsepower difference, the reality is that the Mercedes has a higher end torque and does it at a much lower RPM. And the same with the Scania and the Volvo. Even though the Volvo's stronger, the Scania still hauls just as well, if not better, because of its stability and braking, because it's only 50 Newton meters off, and it actually does it at a lower top end RPM at 1300 instead of 1400. And also, speaking of Mercedes, that's what allows the Mercedes to hang in there and pull with trucks like Renault and MAN, and pull better than trucks like DAF, because it has that much stronger low-end towing power. So again, we got a nice bit of speed built up. We are on a slight upgrade here, so we are going to lose some speed, but it shouldn't be too bad. I was hoping to avoid another nighttime haul, but you can only do so much, like I said, in terms of the game, especially when you have so much unlocked. You just got to kind of run with it. Now, I don't know if it still works with the game, but I'm going to find out. There's one more trailer out there. I know because I found it. There's one more trailer out there. It's an 80-ton trailer. Why it weighs 80 tons, I don't know, because what's on it doesn't look like it should weigh 80 tons. But it does. It's a big trailer. It's not one of those super big trailers that can't make it through the toll booth, but it's a big trailer. And I'm actually hoping to find that. And I'm looking to do the top 3 loads if it still works with, oops. Ah, shit. I should have known that. How many times have I got... I always get a speeding ticket at that spot, man. It never fails. And I can see it coming, too. It still never fails. But I want to do my big Scania versus the 3 heaviest loads in a very tough road. And that would be the 60 some odd ton tank, the 75 ton train, and the 80 ton trailer. But I have to see if I can find the 80 ton and see if it still works without crashing the game. So a good test of your truck can always be a standard road like this. Not being on a highway. Bunny! This can always be a good judge of your truck because they can tend to be a little bit more up and downhill and curvy and not so friendly. And we're going to pass through, I think, a very familiar town that I've mentioned before. And it's never going to change. Yeah, here it is. Every time I pass through this town, that'll be another good thing of when I do like the Renault. I'm not going to limit its load and its direction so much, and its distance. So hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit more than keep seeing the same roads over and over. But part of taking them on the same or similar roads is to, you know, give them a bit more equal, you know, playing ground. You can't say, well, this truck didn't perform well because of the road it was on was really, really crappy. No. Although, I gotta be honest, there was one point in the DAF haul where it was really unfair to the DAF because they had that steep grade hill. Almost mountain-like that it had to climb. But the rest of the road on the DAF was actually a pretty good run. Oh dear. Didn't realize how far we had traveled. I meant to do that 100 kilometers ago. Oh well, it's alright. So again, we're on a bit of a upgrade here, but we'll crest it pretty easily. We're varying like around the 50s. I think we were dropping speed down to 50, but now we've crested the top, so we should pick up some speed as well. As you're going to see, this is going to be like no issue whatsoever. The Scania is hauling like a champ. Now, when I did the tween trucks, as I call them, these were the trucks that you could buy at mid-level that weren't starters. I was going to include the Iveco Highway. But the Iveco Highway, as I took a closer look at it, is not a tween truck. It is actually a high-end truck. So that will probably fall into... well, not probably. It's most likely going to fall into... when I do the high-end, the high-end side of each truck. Now, the question is how do I handle that? And I'm still not sure, because there are some high-end trucks, when you buy them, they're multi-wheeled in the back, and there are some high-end trucks that when you buy them, of course, are the single axle in the back. Now, what makes it so different? Well, I was thinking about doing it by price. The most expensive truck that the company has will be the truck that I choose. But it's not fair, except in the case of the Renault, which actually doesn't have a multi-axle upgrade. It's not fair in case, you know, when one truck company, their most expensive truck, is a simple 2-axle truck, and another company where its axle truck is a 3-axle truck. So what I was considering is doing the most expensive 2-axle, because I think that's a better comparison. You know, because that keeps everything normal. But is that truly showcasing the best truck the company has? Because in all honesty, the better truck will actually be the multi-axle truck. So, you know, it's kind of a conundrum for me of what to do. Do I just showcase the best truck and compare them in terms of this is the most expensive truck the company has to offer? Should I showcase just all the trucks that, you know, are the most expensive, you know, 2-axle trucks? Or should I showcase all the multi-axle trucks and then just do the Renault, which doesn't have that? You know, that's kind of where I'm standing at. I mean, I suppose I could do multi-axle and single-axle as 2 separate series, but that's kind of redundant. Because the true difference between multi-axle and single-axle is stability mostly, but there is a little bit of extra braking power with a multi-axle truck as well. So there, you know, there is that. So which way do you go? Which way do you do it? I'm honestly leaning towards doing the most expensive single axle in the back truck, because again, like, all trucks have that. And then just, you know, quipping in, of course, keeping in mind that the multi-axle version of this truck will be more stable, but I don't know. Something tells me that I'm going to end up just doing the most expensive truck the company offers, whether it be multi-axle or single axle. But we shall see. Yeah, that was needlessly close there. I didn't need to do that, but a nice build of speed, 100 kilometers there. Really good build up of speed. About 60 kilometers. Again, we should hit this in the high 40s. 46, 45, 44. Okay, the low 40s. I thought we'd hit it in the high 40s, but no. We hit it at the low 40s. Bless you. I'm actually surprised I'm driving as well as I am, mainly because earlier today I moved my little dog's leash pin. You know, where you hook up their leash and it spins around so that it doesn't get tangled. Where I had it, he was getting tangled around like certain steps and things, and it was not the best of places, so I decided to move it. And I don't have a hammer, so I was using a red brick. And I was driving it into the ground pretty well. Then I hit, I don't know what. It couldn't have been a rock, although I suppose it's a possibility. I might have hit a rock or something, and it became really hard to drive the pin the rest of the way into the ground. And I got to the point I was hitting the pin so hard that I was starting to chip pieces off of the brick. And of course they were grazing my hand as I was doing it. And I think I noticed the pin actually take a slight lean as it started driving into the ground, which makes me think I did hit a rock, because, you know, I was driving it against the rock, but it was tipping to the side as I was doing so. And I eventually drove it all the way into the ground, but by the time I was done, my my right arm was frickin' exhausted. And actually, you know, I'd sit down and I tried to grab the mouse from my computer here to do some web surfing, thinking I was going to play a little bit of League. and my hand started shaking really bad, and I couldn't get a solid grip on the mouse. And then I realized, I had worked my arm a little harder than I meant to, so I didn't know how well I was going to drive. It's not my left arm, not the one that I steer with, but I do hold down the accelerator with my right, my right index finger. So I was worried that this would become an issue, but apparently it's going just fine, which is really nice. Now, I'm not overly thrilled about this road. Like I said, I know we've driven another truck on it, because to me it doesn't have as much hills and down and ups and whatnot, curves, but it's still a decent road to display on, because what it lacks in steeper curves and hills, it has in like longer, shallower grades, which really helps out. So not to mention it has a plethora of toll booths. Get a quick look at our truck. I believe they call this gooseneck trailer. The trailer doesn't quite fit the entire trailer chassis. But you can see that nice long chassis there on the Scania. That helps gives it its stability, and the fact that the cab's not too tall is a real benefit. I like the forest green color too. If you don't want to put the extra money forward into getting the one that's blue with the side skirts, then the green is actually really nice. It doesn't cost a lot to change the colors in the vanilla game. Most people say, oh, don't invest in your truck, for a while, because you want to buy a garage and get a company started. That's like really, really, really easy. It's stupidly easy. Like I said, you don't take a loan until you can get a $500,000 loan. Get the $500,000 loan, buy your truck, and then the very first thing you do is upgrade your garage to a 3-vehicle garage. Then you will probably have enough left over, or close to enough left over, to buy a truck and recruit a driver. Once you have that second truck and the other driver, even if you're not using a vanilla and having to pay back almost $4,000 a day, it won't take very long for your single driver to start making enough money to offset that loan. So then every run you make is profit at that point. And I strongly recommend upgrading your truck. I strongly recommend upgrading your truck. Upgrade the engine and transmission. Upgrade the transmission, like right away. Upgrade the engines as they become available, because the stronger engine makes for better hauling. And of course, better hauling makes for better runs, and of course you make more money. And it's really, really easy from that point to get another truck and then upgrade your garage again to a 5-vehicle, and then get another truck, and then next thing you know, you got a vehicle full of 5 trucks. You got drivers that are bringing in anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 a run, and you could just sit back and let them drive and continue to build your company. You don't have to drive anymore at that point. It'd be really bad to tip over right now. It'd be really bad to tip over right now, but fortunately we don't have to worry about it. Scania handled that like a champ. And we were almost to our destination. Just a little bit more to go. And it's daylight, so we get to do a little bit of daylight running at least, as we drove all through the night. I also think Scania has one of the best looking extended cabs, or full cabs, and that's the top line. The high line looks a little silly, if I'm to be completely honest, But I really like the look of the top line as compared to all other trucks. And hopefully you'll get to see some of that when I buy the high-end trucks, which I'm going to actually even need another garage for that because I still don't have quite enough room. I gotta shuffle trucks and drivers around. What makes shuffling trucks and drivers around a real pain in the neck in this game, and I wish it was something they'd fix, that if I relocate a truck to a garage, the driver of that truck goes with it. Or if I relocate a driver, I have the option of sending their truck with them. You know, something like that. Give me the option that when I send a driver to a new garage, I can send their truck. Or, I'm not even going to bother slowing down. I don't need to here. Or, if I send a truck to a new location, give me the option to send the driver. You know, that's all I ask. That's all I want. The ability to send a driver to the same location as the truck in one shot. Instead of having to relocate the truck, then go into the driver manager and relocate the driver back to his truck. It's stupid that I can't do that. It's annoying. It's not a huge inconvenience. It's just a little thing, honestly, but when you're doing things like I am, it actually starts becoming a real nuisance. Alright, so here we are at our locations. We'll watch the pull-out again. I don't know why. I like watching going out from like toll booths and whatnot. Zip, back into the cab. Ooh, good thing I went back in time. One of these days I'll show you what happens when you hit one of these too fast. At least I might. You can kind of get an idea because I'm only hitting these at like 15, 16 kilometers. I'm still getting a pretty decent bounce out of them. You know? Boing. I'm actually taking the wheels off the ground at that speed. Now imagine if I hit that just a little bit faster. Yeah. Honestly, I want to be behind this guy. We gotta make a right-hand turn here. Sure, our trailer clears. Oh boy, traffic's gonna screw us here, isn't it? Somebody may let us go through though, once things clear up. Might. Maybe. Possibly. Let me through. Alright, well, it's not going to matter. There's going to be enough room for me to go. Alright. Now, this is going to be one of the easier back ends to pull off here. Just because of where the trail's located. Of course, now, because I said this is going to be one of the easier back ends to pull off, I'm going to royally screw it up. I stopped just so I could get maximum turn going on here. And even though you have to pull fairly far away, you can pretty much pull your truck straight at this point. And then just back it down. Pretty close to full speed. And then just slow down when you get here so that you make sure you get it. Now see, I told you, it's going to be one of the easiest back ends, and then I'd screw it up. I told you I would. That's alright, just a little adjustment, and it should be good enough. Or not, because you know, I have to screw it up even harder. God, this should be so simple. Screw it up more. This would be easier if it was a long trailer, if I'm to be dead honest with you. Because the shorter a trailer is, in all due actuality, the more difficult it is to back up and maneuver because it turns faster. Alright, if this doesn't work, Maybe I just didn't back up far enough the first time. Whatever. We're there. Excellent job, which means no damage to the load. And do we make level 19? Yes, we do. And we're well on our way to level 20. And more fuel efficiency. Alright. You can stop with the backup noise. Did I? Well, I don't know. Company manager. Garage manager. Roma. I gotta, like, move this truck and this truck. Well, no, this truck stays. This truck and this truck. Like, here. Is what I gotta do. But I'll take care of that off camera. And we almost got 500,000. I never broke 1 million in this game, but I have a feeling I'll be able to do that really easy if I wanted to. Alright, so we're back here at night, but that doesn't matter. I'm just going to switch trucks really quick to the Renault Magnum. Drive it. Yes. Go break 500,000. And I'll switch trucks around later. So even though you're going to be looking at the Renault, I'm going to be talking about the Scania. So what is to say about the Scania? Well, it's kind of like I said with the Man, and kind of like what I said with the Volvo. When you're talking about the top 3 trucks in the game, you're talking about flipping a coin as to which one really is the best. They each have their benefits and their drawbacks, but they're very minor and easy to overcome in one way or another. Upgrade the Volvo's chassis, you got a more stabilized truck. You take the mirror out of the front of the Volvo, you have better front visibility. With the Man truck, well, really, there's nothing to upgrade over it. It's just that the Scania and the Volvo are actually more powerful trucks than the Man in terms of not only pulling low end, you know, in horsepower. I mean, not only in low end torque, but high end torque as well. The high end trucks, the engines are more powerful. So still, either way, like I said, you could flip a coin as to which one's the best. I personally prefer the Scania because, as like I said, the Scania's mechanical benefits versus its cosmetic negatives. It's stabler. It's more stable. Stabler, yeah, okay. I believe you have my stabler. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't help it. It's more stable than the Volvo. Even if you upgrade the, I cracked my wife on that one. Even if you have, stop it, I'm trying to commentate. This is the last video of the series, you're ruining it. Even if you have, if you upgrade the cab to the top line, the Scania will be fairly stable. If you upgrade the cab on the Volvo, it becomes very, very unstable. And again, the Volvo can, you know, it is within a hair's breadth of torque in terms of Newton meters, but it does it at a lower high-end RPM, 1300 to 1400. So it gives it pretty much equal pulling power. So it's really just a big, strong, solid truck. And that's why I like the Scania over the Volvo in terms of number 1 and number 2. And I like the Volvo and Scania over the Man as number 3. Although, secretly between me and you, I'll choose a Man over a Volvo just because I don't like the Volvo's, like, SUV-ish qualities. But I have to be fair in breaking down truck versus truck. That in reality the Volvo is a better starter truck as long as you don't upgrade the cab over the Man truck. So there you have it, folks. Those are all the starter trucks. In terms of ranking, we can go from best to worst. So we started worst to best. The best truck, the Scania R, The next best truck, and I'll probably need this just to remind me of all the trucks in here. The second best truck, of course, is the Volvo FH1316. The third in line, the MAN TGX. The fourth in line, the Renault Premium. The fifth in line will be the Mercedes-Benz Actros MP3. And then finally, the last two trucks, of course, being the DAF XF, and the worst truck of the bunch being the Iveco Stralis. But that doesn't mean any truck is actually really, really terrible. If you're a fan of the truck, whether it be Iveco, DAF, or Renault, Premium, Mercedes, MAN, Scania, Volvo, whatever, then you're a fan of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're all actually decent trucks. It's just in terms of comparing them in one person's opinion, that's how they line up. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed watching this series as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. But not everything is over, like I said. Next, we do the unique truck of all the groups, and that is the, and it's unique in more than one way, the Renault Magnum Excellence. And then I have some, you know, driving things planned, like I told you, taking my big Scania and hauling some heavy loads over some tough roads. And we'll see how that works, whether it goes well or comical or terrible. And of course, I want to do the high-end unmodded trucks that the game has to offer, which should definitely prove interesting, because I'm not going to limit, again, I'm not going to limit too much what they can haul and how far we haul them, because I think it's a better idea over a longer run to really show how the truck performs. But I've babbled on long enough in this one, folks. Again, I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Do not forget to comment, rate, and subscribe if you want. Until next time, this is One Big Bugger signing out, and I'll see you then.